Hey, I'm John Greaves III. I'm the founder of Garage Gym Life. And earlier this week, I asked you guys to guess what's in the box. And I got a lot of interesting responses, from a baby to a robot that loads dumbbells for me to something called a Giga Chat. But now it is finally time to find out what's in the box. This is the mobifitness Turbo Exercise Bike. And to help me with this review, I reached out to my wife, Naomi, who enjoys competing in triathlons and does a fair amount of road cycling. She's been using the mobifitness Turbo to help her prep for the upcoming triathlon season, as well as just getting back out there on the road and doing some cycling. What were some of the pros that you noticed when you had a chance to play with this?
It's solid. The Mobi app actually has some classes on there. There's also games. While doing jumps and climbs, you're using your legs to build that momentum on the bike, and it's not wobbling. Not every stationary bike gives you that solid feel. Just like you would at a bike shop, if they were getting your bike fitted for you, you can fit this bike based off your hip, so that way you're in the right position for your knees to be able to drive. The saddle, it lets you custom fit it. Not only are you able to adjust it up and down, but also front and back based off of your hip bone and the way your legs have to be in a 90-degree. It gives you more of a customized feel. You have the option of a toe box, which has a clip. You can tighten up so that way you're locked in this way. But if you prefer clips, or even as a beginner, you're kind of questioning whether or not you can clip in and out of your bike, this pedal actually comes with the standard, it looks like an SPD clip-in, and I think because you have the screws, you may actually be able to change it out to also fit like your Delta and some of your other clip-in shoes. But that way you're able to practice clipping in and out from this kind of bike in preparation for when you're actually on the open road.
One of my pros is it looks good. Maybe you don't have a garage like we do, so your bike has to be somewhere else in the house. Maybe it's in a spare bedroom, maybe you even have to put it in your living room. Imagine if you had a studio apartment. This is obviously still a bike, but it looks good, it's very aesthetically pleasing. You have the option of 3 colorways. So you've got this black and gray that we have, but then you also have the option of Arctic blue and Arctic green, which are a little bit more pricey, but they all look very, very good. Clean, sleek lines, I really like that. And to go along with something you said about it being sturdy, the instruction manual, which you should not throw away, mentions that when you first set it up, you need to level the feet out so that way it doesn't wobble. And then every time you move it, they tell you to level the feet. And even if you haven't moved it at all, to double check that the feet are level about once a month. The reason why that's important is because you get on the bike, and if it's going to wobble, that's going to be a lot of the times because the feet aren't level. So if you have newborn kids or just young kids, you put them down for a nap, you want to get your workout in, you don't want the bike to wake them up. I love that the app is compatible with iOS and with Android. So you can download it, and then once you get it set up, starting your workouts is actually very, very quick. You've got a 2-in-1 integrated display and resistance control knob. You can adjust it using the clicky wheel that's in the center. Up to 32 resistance levels are available, and you can see your changes because you've got a visible display. And on that visible display, you'll see your stats, like your distance, your time, your RPM, calories, your watts. So basically, you know what you're doing, and you can see how those variables change as you make changes to the wheel in the center. So as you increase your resistance, for example, you see what effect that has on your watts and the calories that you're burning. And as you decrease it, maybe you speed up, and so it has an effect on your time, and you're definitely on your RPM. Now, let's talk about some of the things that we didn't like. I guess this isn't really a con, but it is something that you have to keep in mind, and that it's very easy to overlook parts. So you need to make sure you look on both sides of the packing foam to make sure you have everything.
Power cord too.
Yeah, and it's very, so like that was one thing that was very easy to overlook.
Very small box.
It's a very small box, you gotta go digging around for it. In the instruction manual, it shows you all of the parts, and that way you kind of go back and forth and refer to the instruction manual to make sure that you didn't leave anything out. That being said, I would say that the instruction manual installation setup instructions could be a little bit clearer, because when it says installation is finished, you still haven't completed setting it up on the app or anything like that. Now, I grant you that you could possibly just use the bike without connecting it to the app, which is again another pro. But for the full functionality, you want to connect it to the app. There is a video that you can use to help you that's on YouTube. I'll put the link to that in the description for this video. But that video also could be a little bit clearer It's basically just time lapse showing the bike getting put together. It's not a step-by-step thing. We were talking about the metric system because it defaults to the metric system, which is fine if that's what you're used to.
Yes.
But here in America, we don't use the metric system for most things, and so it takes a little bit of finagling to switch it over from the metric to the imperial system. Now, I had a con that my wife actually liked, so she mentioned the seat, and I think the seat's too small. But you were saying that this is actually the standard bike seat.
Whether you have a bike you pick up at Walmart or you go to one of your pricey, bike shops that are gonna, go ahead and do a custom fit for you. This is the standard saddle that you're going to get on your bike. Can you change out your saddle? I think so, because the way it's posted is the exact same way as you would have on your bike. So if you prefer to have a saddle that's more narrow neck, or they even have what's called an open profile. Remember, this is a training tool to prepare you for when you're on the road. So if you're going to be doing a 2 or 3 hour time in the saddle on a bike in an open road, you don't want to have a saddle that is cushy up for you to train here, and then you've got road rash out there. So this is actually very ideal.
Since you mentioned the fact that this is a very good tool to use to train, you are trying to prepare yourself for going out on the road. That goes back to another con. There is no integrated water bottle holder or water bottle cage.
Yeah.
Now, mobifitness does sell on Amazon, I believe. They do sell a water bottle bag that hangs from the handlebars, but if you're going to be practicing the muscle memory of being able to reach down and grab your water as you're on the road, watching out for cars, or reaching behind you to get your water bottle while you're rolling along, you're in the middle of a triathlon, and you want to make sure you don't fall off the bike or you don't lose too much time trying to rehydrate, that's going to be something that's a little bit more difficult to do. And quite honestly, if you're going to be on this thing for the length of time that you could be on them, it's easy to be on here for a couple hours if you're a serious cyclist. So you're going to need to have some way to hydrate. Obviously, it's a home gym. I could just set a stool right here, but that's something that's just not ideal.
Because you do have water bottles that are on a regular bike on a saddle post or even on your bar post. Even if you can integrate something where it's behind the saddle, because again, some aero bikes do have it where you have your water bottles located here, or even a water station that's up here that has the hydration tube. Some kind of way of integrating some form of hydration system into the bike, so again, you're developing that muscle memory.
Now, if you're watching this and you have come up with a solution for, what the water bottle thing, or maybe a way to mount it, please put it in the comments, because we think that it's best if we all learn from each other. But that's just one of the cons we noticed. And this last one is the tablet holder is a little bit narrow. It's perfect for a phone, and we both used our phones to get onto the app. But if you're someone who likes to use a tablet for this sort of thing, then you're going to find that this is a little bit, I wouldn't say it's flimsy.
It does have a little bit of a lip, so
Okay.
that's one thing that does hold it in place. And while the workouts, there are some moves known as for climbing, so that's hill training or even jumps. It was doing several jumps and the phone never came off. But I guess if this could be a little bit bigger to accommodate a tablet, that would help out.
This seems to me to be a solid alternative to the Peloton because it's much less expensive. Even if you go for the Arctic Blue or Arctic Green colorways, this is going to retail for $459.99, and if you add other colorways, then that's going to be $659.99 if you get Arctic Blue or Arctic Green.
Overall, I like the bike. I'm sold on it.